Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ben.
And I'm Erin.
And we're going to be talking to you today about fundraising. The traditional approach will feel familiar to most of you fundraisers out there. It's the way that we fundraise since who knows when. You take your base of donors and reach out to them for support again and again and again throughout the year. It's a fundraising cycle that we all follow. Today, we want to talk to you about how to tap in your supporters' network in a more meaningful way.
It's natural. We hang out with people who share our same interests, so it's likely that your supporters have a network of people that are already interested in supporting your cause. Through peer-to-peer fundraising, your donor base can grow with your supporters' networks. This is what your base could look like if you empower your supporters and help activate them.
$30 billion. That's a big number. Fundraise has worked with lots of nonprofits interested in growing their online giving, which is becoming an increasingly important piece of our overall fundraising strategy in the nonprofit sector. With an effective P2P strategy, you can expand your organization's reach, increasing the amount of online donations.
Reaching new donors while maintaining and cultivating relationships you already have is incredibly important. The opportunity is big, as you can see. Tens of billions of dollars, that's billions with a B, will be donated this year alone. And these numbers are in addition to all the other ways that people give, so it's absolutely critical that online donations become a part of your fundraising strategy. Peer-to-peer should be given significant consideration by your fundraising team, since it can become a huge part of your revenue stream as you grow and evolve as an organization.
Having a beautiful, useful P2P site is crucial to helping your donors become fundraisers in their own right, supporting your cause through their personal and professional networks. Your P2P site is the key to getting people engaged and involved. Right now, we're going to provide things to include as you design a site that will dramatically increase connections and therefore donations. These 4 fundraising fundamentals are absolutely crucial in developing any campaign, but in particular when you create a P2P campaign.
Urgency. That's super important, without a doubt. It's one of the most important components when you're creating a peer-to-peer campaign site. Think of it this way. Your supporters are bombarded with notifications. There's emails, text messages, app notifications, commercials, ads, the list goes on. It's hard to catch their attention any old day. So how are you going to get it for a short-term event like a giving day? Urgency is really critical. If it doesn't need to happen right now, it's not going to win their attention. Not every cause or organization has an ask with a life or death urgency in the mission, or at least in the supporters' minds. But there are ways to create urgency within a campaign that can help elevate your message to your supporters.
Here are a couple ways that you can add urgency. First, think about your timeline. Urgency is effective when you show supporters that you have a plan. Let them know that this isn't a last-minute scramble for funds. You know what you're doing and you're determined to achieve your goal. Have rewards and consequences. Show your supporters how the meeting of this deadline impacts your mission. When the impact is positive or negative, tell your supporters what will happen as that clock hits midnight. Use incentives. Incentives grow the donations efficiently by encouraging your supporter base to donate as well as engage their network to help your organization meet a short-term goal. When achieving a mission is a reward for some people, others are motivated by physical prizes. Countdown timers. This is a feature that you can put on a fundraise P2P site really easily. No one likes to see a timer reach 0 when you're short of a goal. On the flip side, people love to celebrate when a timer counts down to a job well done. And lastly, try a matching grant. If you can swing it, they give people the illusion that they're getting a deal. And when that matching grant is for a limited time only, it can impart a literal sense of relief to the donor when they hit that donate button.
A real-life example is from a fundraise customer, Comic Relief, and their Red Nose Day campaign that takes place once a year. Leading up to the event, they had a steady rate of donations. On the last day of the campaign, they saw a huge spike. That was the actual giving day when their fundraisers were active and donors knew it was the last day to give, creating incredible urgency around getting those last dollars. This is a type of urgency that a timeline or a deadline can create in a peer-to-peer campaign. We often see campaigns that run for 4 or 5 or 6 months. Those are right for capital campaigns trying to raise large amounts of money over time. But if your end date is closer, say 4, 5, 6 weeks, a timeline provides a sense of urgency that's needed to achieve your goal.
Now let's talk about goals. Having a clear and concise goal is critical for every campaign with P2P fundraising. The more specific your goal, the better. Stay away from asking people to donate simply to raise funds for your organization. Call on them to fundraise for a specific project or program. Inspire them to give and get their network to active backing a concrete, achievable goal. A great example of a clear goal is Fundraise customer National Wildlife Federation. They designed a campaign to raise funds for a wildlife crossing over one of the busiest freeways in America. They could have taken this campaign in a lot of directions, but the focus on this particular wildlife crossing helped supporters see where their dollars were going. National Wildlife Federation did a great job of communicating the goal, and as a result, were able to raise hundreds of thousands of dollars through a very simplified ask.
Liberty in North Korea has a very tangible and concrete goal they repeat often. $3,000 will fund the rescue of a refugee, period. But they understand that $3,000 is an amount that intimidates some of their supporters, and the fear of not being able to raise this much can cause a supporter to not donate at all. As a result, Link includes options for smaller donation amounts that allow supporters to engage with a goal amount that feels more comfortable. A fundraiser may decide to tackle a goal of $250 to provide food and clothing, or $100 to provide shelter. Being able to provide concrete numbers pointing to how funds are applied builds trust with Link donors and allows them to visualize exactly how their donation is being used, giving them something to rally behind.
As an added bonus, itemization adds trust. It shows your supporters that you know what you're doing and that you have a well-defined plan for how their dollars will be used. It gives your supporters the opportunity to feel the impact, which is a powerful motivator. This is even more significant for an organization like Liberty in North Korea that can't always show or tell you what they're doing due to safety and privacy concerns. Next, we have emotion. It can be a really challenging piece for your P2P campaign to get right. A lot of us in the nonprofit sector speak in terms of impact and programs and rarely peer out from behind our data and spreadsheets. But we have a passion for what we do. We wake up and come to work every day because we believe in the work that we're doing, which is exactly how you want your supporters to feel. Emotion is a weird one to communicate via webinar, but we're going to try. I'm going to flip to the next slide for a few seconds with no conversation and allow you to have a moment of just feelsies. I don't know what's going on in this image. I can't see what's happening from behind or in front of this person, but I also can't look away. I want to know more. I can almost see myself in the reflection of the eyes. It's powerful. It's something different than all those other slides in this presentation with numbers and letters and words. Information for your brain to take in. This is trying to get into your heart. I'm going to show you a few more examples of emotional appeals via the power of images. This may be the key to hitting your donors in their hearts as well as their wallets. What types of images will capture your donor's passion?
On many sites, when you're required to make an account, you have to put up a profile picture. It is encouraged to not wear sunglasses in those pictures because it's shown that it's not a good way to make a connection. This is an example of improving human connectivity. We're talking about this because it's not just our industry, but other businesses are encouraging this human connection through simple reminders like keeping your eyes visible, because that's how we as humans develop connections with strangers and communicate our intent and demonstrate that we're engaged, listening, and participating in a conversation.
One of the most common struggles within the nonprofit space is how to convey the impact of your mission. We've all been on both sides of this at one point or another, so I'd like to pose the question. Should we show the despair and the struggle of the problem at hand, or should we show the solution and the positive outcome? And you know, both sides are 100% right. It's a matter of balance. If you only show negative images, then your returning donors only see negative images, which conveys that your mission isn't working or the problem is unsolvable. If donors don't have faith that your organization can achieve positive outcomes, they'll get discouraged and possibly go donate somewhere else, or even worse, not donate at all. If you only show positive images, it conveys that your organization doesn't need recurring donors' money or that your mission is complete, again, leading to apathy in donations. Instead, we recommend that you use honest, emotional images that aren't on either extreme.
Your organization has a hand in everything from the problem to the solution, so it makes sense to show the full spectrum of impact. When you find a story that has the potential to be amazing without the final punctuation, grab it. It gives people something to root for and feel good about. Avoid the trap of showing only the problem or only the solution. Nothing is black and white, so it makes sense to show the continuum. Partners in Relief is an organization that uses very powerful messages and text to convey a sense of unity. Here, they show that children in Iraq are just as important as those in our own home countries. They've overlapped the word children with the image, so you visually connect the word with the photo and maybe get a sense of children are the same everywhere. This is emotionally compelling, even without statistics or facts.
Vanguard University, another Fundraise customer, had a different challenge to show emotion. They're not trying to solve some of the bigger world issues like hunger or poverty. They just need to update their baseball field. It would be a mistake to think this can't evoke emotion, though. Just like there are people who love puppies, there are people who love and care about baseball in the university. What Vanguard did was develop a great piece of media. Watch this slow motion scene of a player stealing bases. There's epic music behind it, the sounds of the team clapping, and the visuals of the audience cheering just as he crosses home plate. It draws you in and creates a connection. You feel like you're in the stands supporting your team. You want to see them succeed. Emotion is not just about breaking someone's heart to get them to donate. It's about building an emotional connection and letting supporters feel that they're a part of something great.
Now you have the fundamentals of a peer-to-peer campaign. You've created urgency and made it beautiful, engaging, emotionally impactful. But how do you make this thing go? This is where the heavy lifting begins. Now's the time to talk about this from the perspective of a peer-to-peer fundraiser.
Be a part of each fundraiser story. This is where most of the momentum begins, making a campaign successful. There are two tracks that a fundraiser can go down, a stalled fundraiser track and a progress track. A stalled fundraiser is someone who's signed up but hasn't even started fundraising. A fundraiser in progress is someone who's signed up and is soliciting donations from their network. The important thing is sending the right message to the right person at the right time. This is an automated process within Fundraise that can impact your results in phenomenal ways.
Starting with the stalled fundraiser, someone signs up because they were compelled by your excellent campaign site, but they don't have the time to start fundraising right then and there. What we do over the next 14 days is communicate with them regularly. If a fundraiser hasn't started to progress within 14 days, it's unlikely that they'll come back. Our goal is to move a stalled fundraiser to a fundraiser in progress through these automated email messages.
Both the timeline and the messaging for these emails can be completely customized through Fundraise. We recommend that the messages mix humor with a level of seriousness and urgency that connects them to your goals. Once you migrate them to the progress track, this is where your momentum begins. Progress goal messages speak to your fundraisers in a very personal way. This includes details like the level of their progress and how much they've raised while providing encouragement and assistance. Fundraise offers a great tool set to help you in this process.
To illustrate the value of this feature, we'd like to highlight a quick story about a guy who had what was maybe the worst job at Link. He had to track down in-progress fundraiser data points in order to update and send personalized emails, manually. He spent hours each day compiling reports on fundraiser progress and identifying stalled fundraisers. He recognized fundraisers who were succeeding and provided encouragement. This was a totally manual task that took about 120 hours of his time for each campaign. Imagine what Link could have done with 120 hours if this process could have been automated. They could have been building donor relationships and cultivating donors. Like a lot of nonprofits, Link was stuck with these inefficiencies and didn't adequately equate time with money. Cut to present day, Fundraise sends Link's emails automatically.
And that is why we built the Fundraise tools. The fundraiser journey is automated in every campaign launched from Fundraise. The momentum of the campaign can function on autopilot and allow your staff to spend their time accomplishing tasks that require human interaction. With these fundamentals, you have the power to create fundraising campaigns that aren't simply asks. They're complete experiences for your supporters that they'll never forget.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope these tips help you set up your peer-to-peer campaign with Fundraise.
Thank you, and if you have any questions we can help answer, reach out to us on Twitter or Facebook.